Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, your humble agent Raven has returned with yet another episode of Clearing Out the Vault. In today's episode, we go across the rather hectic and confusing flight path of the fusion rifles, which do not actually follow a preset distinction like any other guns. So instead, I've categorized them by impact ratings and compared them side by side with comparable impacts in an attempt to bring you the most useful fusion rifles, or at least stat-wise, of a specific category. So without further ado, let's get this party rolling. So first and foremost, we have the highest impact fusion rifles with an impact of mid-90s and above, starting with the vanilla 7.7 Wizard found from the Crucible Quartermaster and the Praetorian Foil found from the Vault of Glass hard mode from the Oracle encounter. Jumping along to the Dark Below and the Trolley Problem, found in the Crucible Quartermaster during that era, and the Servant of Axor, of course the Archon Priest that we so detest, found off Varix for a weapon core or from a Judgment's Chance for a weapon and armor core. Which brings us back to the table, which of course shows us that the highest blue barred stats within this category of fusion rifles actually belongs to that of the Servant of Axor, holding of course the highest impact of this class, as well as the absolute highest range, the fastest reload, of the higher magazine size, the highest aim assist, and the highest recoil pattern, making this a very solid fusion rifle. Now bringing up in a pretty good second goes to the 7.7 Wizard, performing very similarly to the Servant of Axor in many of its categories, with its weakest stats being of course stability, magazine, aim assist, a decent handling, bringing us on down the line to the Trolley Problem, holding still good reload and the fastest charge rate of this category, making it quite versatile even with its lower impact, good inventory rating, and surprisingly kind of bringing up the rear in stat-wise is in fact the Praetorian Foil, holding the most red bar stats out of any of the mid to high 90s impact fusion rifles. So of course, just going on a stat comparison alone, it would seem the Servant of Axor would be the more versatile choice. Moving on down the line now as we go to the low 90s impact fusion rifles, including that of even an 89 impact. Starting off with the Purifier 7, found from the New Monarchy vendor. Plug 1.1, found from the Vanguard Quartermaster during the Dark Below. The Snakebite Surgeon, found for Dragon Strike reward screens. And the Give-Take equation, found from the Vanguard Quartermaster for House of Wolves. Again, consulting our handy-dandy table. Yeah, I know, Blue's Clues. We find that holding the most blue bar stats this time around is the Plug 1.1, holding absolutely highest in class for, of course, range, impact, stability, reload, magazine size, handling, recoil direction. Why is it always getting higher? But sadly, one of its more crippling points being its charge rate being of the absolutely lowest of this category, something actually shared by the Purifier 7, one of the comparing fusion rifles to it, but not better comparing than the Give-Take equation, holding very good stability, the highest charge rate, and a comparable range, with 2 points lower impact. Then we have the Snakebite Surgeon, fitting somewhere between the Plug 1, the Purifier, and the Give-Take, doing several things fairly well, but something of a jack of all trades, but master of none, and nothing too beneficial, save for that of recoil direction and inventory. So it seems if you missed the Plug 1.1 Give-Take equation, not a bad runner-up, and in fact, kind of my own preference, as I prefer faster charge rate fusion rifles. Now we go to the low to mid 80s impact fusion rifles, starting with the Final Rest 2, found from the Dead Orbit vendor. Light Beware, the first go-to fusion rifle that I can remember in Destiny, found from the Vanilla Quartermaster, and the Techion, whatever Ian Force, found from the Prison of Elder Big Key Chests. Alright, I'm not going to be coming up with a clever pun every time I go back to the tables. I'm just not quick-witted enough for that. I'm sorry. But as we can see from the table, We see that the Final Rest 2 seems to be the fusion rifle on top of this category, sharing the highest impact rating of the class, sharing the highest range of the class, having the highest reload speed, having a comparable charge rate to the Light Beware, which before Perun's Fire became a thing had pretty much the highest charge rate of any fusion rifle. Of course, all fusion rifles here share the magazine size, highest handling speed, not a bad recoil direction, and the highest inventory rating. Final Rest 2 kind of preemptively gets a pretty good seal of approval here, with the Light Beware of course making still a very good second place gun in this category, holding the same range, a slightly higher charge rate, same magazine size, a better recoil direction, a bit of a suffering in the handling stat, slightly better stability, and not too far behind of a reload speed. Then we have the whatever force. Well, you know what? Just whatever that gun. Just no. It's got impact and stability going for it. But if you can get your hands on a Final Rest, or if you have a Light Beware, just don't. Please. At the light at the end of the tunnel, with the low to mid 70s impact fusion rifles. Starting off with Perun's Fire, the Iron Banner fusion rifle. Of course, all other samples within this category belong to that of the House of Wolves. The Split Shifter Pro, found from Crucible Match reward screens. The Frenzy, bought from the future War Cult vendor. And then we have Exile's Curse, found off Brother Vance as a singular buy or off the gold tier package. Now, as the table shows us, this class of fusion rifle is a little more muddled, a little harder to pick out the truly stand-out fusion rifle. Now, while the Split Shifter Pro does have the most blue bars, it does somewhat suffer, the same as Perun's Fire, in charge rate. Though with a good reload and magazine size, and the highest recoil direction, it's not a bad fusion rifle. However, the Frenzy is probably the one that will be walking away with Raven's seal of approval, sharing the range of the Perun's Fire, a good reload speed, sharing the fastest charge rate with the Exile's Curse, the highest inventory size, and the best handling stat, showing this to be probably the most versatile of the fusion rifles, with of course Exile's Curse getting quite a bit of a second place along with Split Shifter Pro, but more of a close quarters fusion rifles than the others, holding the worst range stat, and sadly a very low reload. Now while Perun's Fire may hold the lowest of the recommendation, again, not a bad fusion rifle, holding the longest range, good reload speed, and again the best handling. Something more of a longer distance fusion rifle, certainly. So our last category of fusion rifles, the high 60s, goes to Light of the Abyss. This weapon can be found from the Crota's End raid, dropped off normal or hard Crota himself. That is right, it is a singularly occupied category. Now, for some reason, I didn't feel quite right in comparing this fusion rifle to another category, but instead, I compared this fusion rifle to fusion rifles in general, find out where it sits, considering it is something of a lone wonder. Now, of course, it holds the lowest impact of any other fusion rifle, and it actually holds some of the lowest range. Stability and reload are not bad. It currently holds the fastest charge rate out of any legendary fusion rifle, and one of the largest magazine size, with a mid-handling aim assist, but very low handling and recoil direction, as well as inventory. So, a close quarters fusion rifle, but its stat layout should allow it to be able to get that job done fairly well. Considering it has a low handling, you shouldn't really need to aim down sights too much, or at least, in theory, because I personally find fusion rifles the easiest gun in Destiny to hipfire, but that's me, and it's been quite often I've been called weird. So yeah. So there you have it, the fusion rifles of Destiny. It seemed to have went by way too fast. You'd think I'd have some kind of script or something to work on, but I swear, I didn't. For some reason, I was just able to put all this together very well. Not even sure if I'm going to leave all that in. So tune in next time, Guardians, as the next line in the episode is going to be a toss-up between the shotguns and the sniper rifles of Destiny. But this bird's got to flock off to get to work on that. So may the stars shine brightly upon your destinies, Guardians.